All right, we are here right in front of the Opera House, one of construction or developments all the way during the French period. Why am I standing here in District 1? Because I want to talk about retirement in Vietnam. It's been very difficult in the last 2 years or 2.5 years due to the pandemic. So I know many of the retirees could not come back to Vietnam during that time. However, 2023 will be a much better time because the doors are opening up and there are investments and the city is getting alive again. So today we're going to talk to you about the advantages and disadvantages of retiring in Vietnam and what options are available for you. So that's what I want to talk about as I slowly enter into retirement as well. I'll give you my first-hand experience as well as our collective experience. So let's get started in that video. So hello, my name is Ken Duong, international business and immigration attorney for over 13 years, and I've helped hundreds of people live, work, and invest around the world, such as United States, Australia, Portugal, Grenada, and other parts of the world. So we want to let you know how you can live and work and retire in Vietnam. But before we get to that, I want to make sure that to get the most latest information about retirement investing in Vietnam, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the bell for notifications, and of course we always want your comments about how to live and retire in Vietnam. So according to US News magazine, Vietnam was voted one of the top 50 best places to retire in 2022, and here are some of the advantages. First, it was voted as one of the most affordable priced places in the world based on the food costs, scenery, beaches, and the lifestyle that you have. In fact, Vietnam is 49% cheaper than the United States on cost of food and living, and also 75% cheaper regarding rent and the place that you live. So that is very important of why people are retiring in Vietnam. But apart from this magazine, let's review some of the advantages of retiring in Vietnam. So looking at the advantages of living in Vietnam, you have to really look at the cost of living, the friendliness of the people, the culture, and also looking at the health benefits there. So if you're looking at the cost of living, we did a calculation that roughly about $1,000 a month you can live in the countryside. But if you want to live in the big cities such as Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, or Da Nang, then you would definitely look at about $2,000 per month for your living and your costs and also your entertainment. So budget about $2,000. That's still very cheap compared to many parts of the world, including the United States. Switching gears to friendliness. So Vietnam is one of the friendliest countries that I've lived here for 9 years. Many of our clients, thousands of them, have also said that the people, employees, the staff, and also the colleagues are extremely friendly, which helps you in order to enjoy living in Vietnam. For them, everyone is a member of the family, so you shouldn't be surprised to get invited to eat at someone's house despite not knowing them well. Then you switch over to the scenery, where you have mountains, you also have beaches, you also have rivers in many of the big cities. So we made a whole video about the 6 places that are best to live at. So make sure that you click on that video in order to watch and determine whether you would want to live in one of those big cities. Even when you live in big cities such as Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh, you can still expect to have patches of greenery and fresh air. And then finally, culture. Vietnam is rich in culture, from the Chinese influence to the French to the Americans, and also its modern day culture right now from the north, center to the south. So you can explore and live in many places that will bring you the culture that you want, and Vietnam is extremely diverse. So those are the advantages of retiring and living in Vietnam. We definitely don't want to give you one side of the picture. We will also let you know some of the disadvantages of living in Vietnam. Of course, we would be remiss if we did not tell you the disadvantages of retiring in Vietnam. The first disadvantage is the language barrier. Although Vietnam is a developing country and many of the young people in the city speak English, if you are living in the countryside, then most likely the population is a little bit older and not as proficient in English. So therefore, I would recommend that you at least plan to retire here to take basic courses in Vietnamese in order to communicate your main necessities about food, living, transportation, and also to be able to converse with the locals here. However, if you live in the big cities in Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh, then there are millions of people who speak English to allow you to have a full life and also to be able to communicate with the locals as well. So we will not say that we will teach you Vietnamese. However, one of our marketing team, Miss V, has made a video about learning a few basic words in Vietnamese. So click on your right hand corner to watch that video to learn a little bit of Vietnamese. And if you really like it, we will also do other videos that will help you live in and retire in Vietnam. Although it is true that life is less expensive, it is still common for foreigners to be charged what is referred to as the foreign price. Aside from this, the country does not have a large number of modern infrastructure, but this is understandable since Vietnam is a developing country. Another disadvantage of living in Vietnam is that unlike Malaysia or Thailand, which has a retirement visa, which means that you don't actually have to work or make an income. Nevertheless, you need to have an established amount of money per month in order to live in Vietnam without depending on the government. Unfortunately, as of right now for this video, there's no such retirement visa yet. However, we do have a few strategies to help you live in Vietnam and retire without having to go in and out of Vietnam. We hope in the future that this retirement visa will be available, and we are optimistic that Vietnam will have it in the near future. So what kind of options are you looking that may be available in 2023 for you to live longer term in Vietnam without the retirement visa, since it's not available in Vietnam right now? So I'm going to go over those two options. So the first option that you have, although it's not a retirement visa, it's a very simple investor visa. So Vietnam has 4 categories of investor visas, anywhere from 3 billion VND up to 100 billion VND. So that's roughly about $130,000 to $5 million, and what benefits you may get. I will talk the most commonly used one is the DT4, which is 3 billion investments, and that allows you for a 12-month period, renewable as long as you run the business every single year. So looking at that, you will invest $130,000 into a business in Vietnam, such as a franchise, convenience store, 7-Eleven, Family Mart, GS25, or you can open up your own restaurant, you can open up a professional services firm, a hotel, or any other type of business that is smaller in scale and size, so that you can get your DT4 3 billion investment for 1 year and you keep on renewing. That is one great way to do it. And the added benefit is this: you will have your spouse and all your children under 18 years old as dependents of your DT4 as well, so they can stay as well here in Vietnam. However, if you're a retiree and you don't have children, it's just you and your spouse, and it's a great way to have passive monthly income and have a longer term stay visa for you during this time. And as always, our team of legal, tax, and retirement experts are here to help you find the best path for you to retire in Vietnam. So don't hesitate to contact us via email, phone, or any one of our intake forms. So another way to stay long-term in Vietnam is to get what's called a TRC, or Temporary Residence Card, that allows you to stay for an extended period of time from 1 to 3 years, depending on the type of TRC that you have. There are specific requirements about how to get it, and there are 2 main ways to get it. The first one is if you are married to a Vietnamese citizen or you have Vietnamese children. This allows you to get a TRC for 2 years based on marriage to a Vietnamese, and renewable indefinitely for you to stay. The second way is you get a TRC based on a work permit. That means that you are working for a company or corporation that allows you a temporary residence card from 1 to 3 years, depending on your labor contract. So those are the main requirements and how you can stay longer term with a TRC in Vietnam. And we've helped many clients and corporations and individuals to get this TRC. Our team of experts in Vietnam are ready to help you, both foreign and local attorneys as well. So make sure that you contact us and we'll be happy to help you. But before we continue with all of that, I want to make sure that you understand the tax system in Vietnam. And so we want to point you to the video that we talked about the Vietnam tax system, and also the sliding scale and the chart as well. So we made a whole video regarding taxes, so make sure that you click on your right hand corner to watch that video, and we will put up a chart so you know what taxes that you may or may not have to pay depending on the business or the visa that you plan to use. But before you retire in Vietnam, here are certain things that you need to do, but it's really a reminder because we did make a video on these topics already. The first thing is, if you are planning to relocate to Vietnam, we would recommend that you send your belongings first to Vietnam, either to a place you have rented or a storage area, and go by shipping because it's much cheaper if you go by containers, and it will take 4 to 6 weeks to get here depending on where you are. So once everything gets here and you fly in, then you will have everything ready. Also, if you're an executive and you have a big family that you're retiring with, then we recommend you use a relocation service. The second item you got to think about is the health insurance. So health insurance Vietnam has certain coverage, but we recommend that you get your umbrella coverage from your home country for international use here in Vietnam as well. And also getting to know which are in-service and out-of-service providers that you can use in Vietnam and which hospitals will fit your needs depending on the big city or the little city. In order to avoid any unwanted medical expenses, you may purchase an insurance package from a private company. This is also available in Vietnam. You should also check the foreign policy of your government, since some countries offer their citizens living abroad special insurance. And then finally, it's not mandatory for you to register with your embassy or consulate. However, we would highly recommend it because if something happens to you in Vietnam, at least your embassy or consulate will know your whereabouts, have your contact information, and also have your kin information so that they can contact them to get you help. Because as you know, in this unpredictable world, we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. Thus, we should live fully every single day. For example, Americans can register at the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, while Canadians may register via registration for Canadians abroad. You may check on your Foreign Affairs website for more details on your specific country. So those are the things that we want to remind you of as you are living in Vietnam and you should do prior to retiring in Vietnam. So now that we've shared with you the advantages and disadvantages of living in Vietnam and retiring here in Vietnam, I'm in a more laid-back position because I am looking to retire as well, and I hope that you will be able to find your path, your direction, and also your future goals as you retire in Vietnam. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, make sure you like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment below if you're ready to retire and move in Vietnam, or you're already retired in Vietnam and you want to share some of your knowledge with our audience and also our team members. And of course, click on the bell for notifications on all the videos about retiring in Vietnam. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Important of why people are retiring in Vietnam. I didn't know to speak this last part or not. Will have a good lifestyle for you. Switch to a Vietnamese. Vietnam. Okay.